Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field that Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. But need OG Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's my time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, I don't know. We were looking at that money flow coming to the downside, looking for the move down to with a $114,000 CME gap. And here we are, guys, sitting at about $113,859. Oh my God, Bitcoin. It's like we dumped, but we saw it coming. It's almost as if the TA works. I want to cover today, guys, if you did not see the market update, we're going to talk about kind of how we made our way down here. I'm going to cover that very briefly. And then we're going to talk about the probabilities of potentially getting a bounce from the zone that we're at right now, which is the CME gap / 786 Fibonacci retracement. I want to talk about the probabilities of getting a bigger bounce from here. And if we do get that bounce, guys, I think you probably already know what I'm going to say. Money flow's coming out. If we get those bounces, we're looking for lackluster lower highs. Lackluster pumps for lower highs and then continuations back to the downside. Are we going to zero? Are we going to 110K? Are we going to 3K? What the heck is happening? Is alt season canceled? I'm going to answer all those questions in today's video, guys, or in today's live stream. So smash that like button if you have not already, guys. We're going to be doing giveaways tonight. I think we got 20 bags of ADA to give away tonight, and if we hit 550 likes, we'll add some Frankie Candles hats to the giveaway. And if we hit 1,000 likes, I'll give away $200 in Solana. So smash up that like button if you appreciate the free content, guys. We certainly appreciate the like button. It's the easiest and most free way to support the channel. Guys, big shout out to Captain Kirk in the chat, guys. Cap got hit by a car on her motorcycle. She's okay for the most part. She is banged up pretty good. I think she said she had a broken wrist. She's got some pretty gnarly cuts. So thoughts and prayers to Captain Kirk for a speedy recovery, guys. We need to come together as a mafia and send positive energy her way. Shout out to Cap. We hope you feel better, and we wish you a speedy recovery. And she did say she was going to hang out in the streams a little more because she's going to have some time off work. So shout out to Cap. There is a little bit of a bright side. We get to hang out with Cap a little more. So show her some love in the chat. And guys, Jessie too. I think she was referring to Jessie, our like police, also in a motorcycle accident, also okay. Shout out to Jesse. Thoughts and prayers to Jesse as well. We hope to see him back in here soon. But shout out to you guys. That is weird timing that both happened at the same time. But shout out to you guys. They help us out so much. So show them some love in the chat, guys. But we do have a emergency rate cut. Shout out to Eric. So yeah, we're going to take a look at the FedWatch tool. It's funny that somebody said that. We don't cover this all the time, but I did talk about this with the premium Discord in our live stream earlier today. There is, right now, or last time I checked earlier today, was 80% chance that we're going to get a rate cut in September. As you guys know, this has been my general anticipation this whole time. I never thought we were getting rate cuts in July. September is really the month to watch. And just be aware, although we have an 80% chance right now on the FedWatch tool, just understand that these percentages do change pretty dramatically leading up until that date. So they can change, but we'll take a look at that as well. And I'll just go over my thoughts here on kind of the overall market here, guys. Like, are we still potentially entering that final phase of the bull market? Well, if you watch this channel, you guys will know that is still my bias here. So we got a lot to look at on the charts. Thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button. The stream deck is lagging out, guys. There we go. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So, guys, here we are. And pretty wild, guys. Literally, the TA just playing out like as perfect as possible, right? As throughout this entire range, guys, we have been looking at the 4 hour. I'm just going to keep it on the 6 hour. It's actually a little clearer on the 6 hour for some reason. But as you guys know, as we were looking at price bing-bonging back and forth here from the low to the high, from the low to the high, from the low to the high, back to the low, we understood that we did have, as we were coming back down to this value area low, money flow was coming to the downside here on time frames like the 6 hour, the 4 hour, etc. We were specifically looking at the 4 hour. We were even talking about if we were able to fake out into the green here, the probabilities of this being a lower high were somewhat likely. I showed you guys that post in the Discord. Let me go ahead and silence my phone here. There we go. You guys know we were. I brought up that Discord post earlier or yesterday on the live stream, just kind of talking about how like letting the Mafia know if we do get this pop back to the upside, it could be a lower high because we are generally trending to the downside, and that money flow, guys, is always going to create the bias for the continuation of the trend, right? And that money flow coming out did indicate that we were going to get the breakdown of this range, targeting a very specific level, which was sitting right here in our next major zone of support. And to be honest, guys, although we could get a bounce here, I'm going to go into the local time frames and talk about why we might be able to see some kind of relief here. But this is honestly not that confluent of a level in my opinion. So we'll cover some of the lower levels as well. But if you guys tuned in last night, you will know we were comparing this current price action to the range that we had here. I'll pull up the daily time frame and turn off these spider lines real quick just to clean up the chart. We were comparing it to the larger range that we had back here in February, right? You have that big money flow wave coming into the green. We bing bong sideways, but as you're in this sideways range, guys, what is happening to your money flow? It is trending out. This is that indication that you are going to more likely get a break to the downside out of the range rather than just yeeting on off to higher prices, right? When you want to see that big move up, you literally have to see money flow doing the opposite of what it's doing here and as well as the opposite of what we were doing up in our local range. And you can see, like we were saying, it doesn't have to play out like that, but more often than not, when you have the money flow coming out in a range like that, the chances of the breakdown are much more likely. And here we are, right? We get the breakdown of the range, we push into the CME gap, and we actually wicked down to that 786, guys, which is literally the line in the sand here for the bigger breakdown to our lower levels of support, potentially looking down towards about $112,000 to $110,000. And we do technically have some lower levels here as well. I forgot, somebody just brought it up in the chat. Maybe we go down a little bit closer to the POC of that lower range. As you guys know, this lower range is what we're looking at. If we lose this 786, I am definitely, we were talking about yesterday, if we lose this 786, we are definitely going to be looking down to 114 to 113.1. We lost it. We got down here, and we even talked about the probabilities of getting a reaction here being very low. And why is that, right? It's like, well, we've already gotten the reaction there. If we are going to look for a higher low to be formed here for a bigger break, for a bigger break to the upside, right? It was more likely to happen here. The second time you come tap that 786, it's not as valid, right? In my opinion, right? And what happens? You lose that 786, it's the doorway to 114K, and we go directly down there. And now we're just playing around with the support. But just like that, guys, this 786 here, sitting at about 113,190, this is going to be that next big level that, if lost, guys, is 100% going to make me anticipate a bigger drop to the downside. No, Frankie, don't say more downside. What are you doing, man? Start looking up. And I will cover the bullish case as well here, guys. We got the Aztecian rocket ship juice here. Yeah, you can't see it, but there's rocket ships on there, so I'm trying to pump Bitcoin with our energy drink here. But if we lose that 786, guys, I am definitely going to be looking down towards $112,000 to $110,000. Now, down here, this is the thing, right? We have the CME gap and the 786 here. You have some confluence there, but there's no MPOCs. There's really no other levels of confluence down there. So I am looking at this as kind of an intermediary level of support. If we do get the bing bong back to the upside, I am going to, based off money flow, be looking for lower highs and lower lows. This helped us identify this downtrend here. Continuing, right, even as we had our lower time frame money flow coming out. Mrs. Candles in the house. Can we please get a hand stiff, Mrs. Candles? I know you've been kind of cold shouldering us lately, and you're like big time now. You have a famous hand. But come on, bless the people. Oh, is that where you were? You were getting your nails done. Ooh. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. But anyway, guys, this. Oh, hang on one sec. Mrs. Candles has a question. What's up, Mrs. Candles? Yeah. Okay, so as you guys know, money flow coming out here was helping us identify not only the breakdown of the range, but every single time we got a push to the upside here, it was going to be more likely that we were going to get a lower high to come in on those Fibonacci retracement levels. As you can see here, come back for the retracement, golden pocket 786, lower high. We continue the downtrend. We did it here, and here. And, if we get a push to the upside, guys, based off money flow, we still have to be looking for potential lower highs for lower lows to come. Until we have money flow on the 4-hour, I mean, obviously here on the 2-hour, this is tanking to the downside. This is not what we want to see for a massive move up. So we might have to spend a little bit of time in the red here until we see that money flow cross back up into the green. The bias here has to be lower highs and lower lows, and I know that's not everybody's favorite thing to hear, but it does keep you on the right side of the trade. So I am still holding my short position that we were showing yesterday. Let me see if I can pull this up here over on Femex. Got about $400 locked in. I have moved my stop loss into profit here as well. So if we do come up, maybe I'll stop out in profit. Who knows? But still have $1,200 unrealized here, being on the right side of the trade. And the money flow was what it was able to help us identify that, guys. And just to bring that up, the reason I bring that up, I should say, is because if we do get pumps here, it has to be looked at as lackluster pumps to the upside for lower highs and lower lows, which is where we would target the 112 to 110K level, where we do have a decent level, decent amount of support, right? I would probably say like you have the daily MPOC as well as our structural highs here at about 112K. Just go ahead and grab that as a horizontal line, right? So between about 112.55 and 111.90, right? Basically between about 112 and 111K. That is going to be first zone of support. And at the end of the day, guys, if we don't want to hold that, right, we could potentially come down and retest this value area high at $110,000. And I'm hoping, guys, that this bigger level holds. If we have to break back down into this range, we do have one more honorable mention when we pull our Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 retracement from the low here at about 98,182 all the way up to the all-time high. You can see we do have Golden Pocket confluence on that POC as well. I'm personally going to be looking at this as our line in the sand because once we lose this level, the last level to hold, to remain bullish here long-term, is going to be the 786 at 103,484. Could we bounce there? Yes. Is it going to be a very difficult situation? Absolutely, because we will potentially be getting accepted below our larger volume profile, or specifically the value area high, right? So I'm hoping, right, if we do have to get that bigger retracement that we've been looking for, it has taken plenty of time here. I mean, we've been talking about this pullback pretty much ever since we came up here and started ranging. Finally, we're starting to see that breakdown as expected, but I'm hoping that we can hold the structural highs. That would be absolutely beautiful, but if we did come down a little bit more, I would hope that we can hold this golden pocket because these are going to be the two next big levels that I'll be looking at for major bounces, and if we break down to that 786, guys, and we bounce there, we could get stuck under that value area high. I've covered this situation many a time, so I'm going to be very brief here. The reason this is confusing or a little bit more difficult is because if you test that 786, it is technically an area where you can get a bounce from. This is this is exactly where we bounced on last time we got the breakdown of a big range. We had the golden pocket 786. I believe it was pulled from this low. I'll just rough it out here, right? To the high. We came down to that 786, higher low opportunity, just like it will be a higher low opportunity here. The only problem is once we break down there, right, you are below major resistance, which is the value area high of the macro range. So we'll deal with that when we get there. Hopefully we don't have to. We do still have plenty of support above that we can bounce off of. But that's what I'm going to be looking for. In the worst case scenario, guys, we could be looking for that deeper retracement as we've covered here for weeks. We're just seeing what we're looking for playing out, right? It's one of those streams where it's like, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's like we've been looking for this for so long. Finally, we're validated, and we see that money flow once again not lie. Money flow very rarely lies, guys. This is a fact of the matter. If you watch this show, if you look at Market Cypher B, you'll know how reliable this stuff is. So here we are at support. I'm going to come down to the lower time frames and kind of talk about if there is a possibility of getting a bounce here. So let's go ahead and break it down. I'll turn off the daily MPOCs, and I will turn off this lower range as well. I'm going to come in and check on chat real quick as well. Shout out to Olgar says, why do you say worst case if we drop? It's good. We get it over with. Yeah, shout out to Olgar. I mean, at the end of the day, right, the worst case, I guess technically the worst case is bull market over, right? Everything goes to zero. That is not the camp I fall into. That would technically be the worst case. But when I talk about worst case, I'm just meaning like the worst case short term, right? I personally would not mind getting this over. The faster this happens, the better. We have been talking a lot recently about kind of where we sit in the market, guys. I do believe that we are entering that final phase of the bull market where we will see Bitcoin finally finish off its all-time high. And then eventually, hopefully, if we get those rate cuts to come in September, we could potentially see the altcoins finally start to rip. And we'll cover the altcoins, guys. Like the pullbacks on altcoins are all things that we've been prepared for. We talked about hitting key resistance, high time frame red dots. We've been waiting for this, and we haven't really broken down any super key levels on most altcoins. So if we are, in this final phase, we might just have a little bit more time, a little more consolidation, a little more dumpy before we finally see that stuff come into play. And you can see here the FedWatch tool is actually coming up. It was 80%. chance that we would get a rate cut earlier today. Now it's at 86%. So this is nice, right? We want to see this number go up. It could change when we get closer to July, when we get closer to September. So this will change, day to day. But right now, this is looking pretty good for a rate cut in September, which would be right in line with our expectations of seeing an alt season finally come in, right? Is it impossible to have no alt season this cycle? Nothing is impossible, but from the way I approach the markets, from being in this market for many, many cycles, I don't want to say many, there hasn't really even been that many cycles, but I've been in this market for multiple cycles, right? It does seem like things are coming in right on time, right? And we get the initial breakout, would not be unlikely to come retest the top of this range, right? Even if we have to slip into that golden pocket, hopefully not the 786. And I don't want to say, I'm not hoping for the 786 because if we go down there, it's over. It's just that, it just becomes a very difficult situation because you have the key resistance above. But seeing something happen like this, like we've been looking at for weeks, is not the most uncommon thing. So yeah, we're just right on time here. I am not worried. I am not freaking out. We just have to sometimes be patient. Nothing goes up in a straight line forever. And Bitcoin has gotten, even just from the impulse, a pretty big rip, right? A nice little 14% rip. Nothing but upside, little consolidation. Might make some sense to come down here and retest some key levels. So that's kind of where I stand long term. Same thing. We're just right on track here with what we've been looking for. Hopefully, I've helped you guys kind of navigate the emotions here, identifying that this dump would probably come, so you're not freaking out, oh my God, what's happening? Everybody's panic selling. It's the bear market. Hopefully, this has helped you kind of manage those emotions. So let's go down to the lower time frames, guys, and talk about what we have going on here in our local level of key support that we're sitting at. Here's the thing, guys. All right, so we came down to the CME gap. We do actually have some bullish divergences printing here. We have the 1 hour bull div, and again, we are coming into that 786 Fibonacci retracement. This is the biggest key level, guys. We lose this, I'm 100% anticipating the lower prices. And if I'm not here to update you guys, if I sign off and walk away from the computer and we just dump, I want you guys to be aware of those key levels down below that we just went over. But definitely a very key level of support here. And we did put in some bullish divergences here. We have the lower lows on our price action, the higher lows on our momentum waves. I wouldn't even really say this is the strongest bullish divergence. It's a little bit wonky, but it would be nice if we can get a little bit of relief here. Now, if we do get relief, I am still going to be looking for potential lower highs and lower lows. I'm going to talk about the key levels of resistance I will be watching. But does that make sense? I think everybody understands that we use the money flow as a filter of whether we should be favoring shorts or longs. And in this medium time frame environment, as long as this 4 hour money flow is in the red, maybe we get the green dot. I would say if we're looking for a bigger pop to the upside, I would watch for this 4 hour green dot to print. Maybe we can get back above that CME gap and start to push back up. But even then, it would feel very nice. But we do have to be very careful of lower highs and lower lows based off of money flow in the red, right? That's our filter. That's how we identified these lower highs. It's going to be the same way if we come back to the upside. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Satoshi John said, I'm fighting sleep right now to see ETH. Yes, we're going to jump into ETH very, very quickly here. But I do just want to cover these key levels to the upside as well. So just generally speaking here, guys, I would be inclined to pull from the last lower high all the way to the low here. We do have sitting at about 116, and I'll pull up the current range as well so you can get some context there, right? So we do have the anchored VWAP here. This is another reason why this was such a key level. Lose the anchored VWAP, right? We can't get back above it. Probably going to open the door to that bigger drop down. Obviously, we've seen that. We broke below this 786 as well, but I will take that off the chart. And I would say right now, some key levels to look at, guys. Obviously, the value area low / golden pocket / anchored VWAP is in confluence here. So we do have multiple levels of resistance sitting up here. So if we did get a pop to the upside, unless we get a pop up, and money flow is ripping back into the green on the 4 hour, and it's some kind of massive V-shaped recovery, I would definitely be looking for a little climb up, if we're lucky enough to even get it, to put in a lower high at the golden pocket value area low. If we wick back into the range here, we do have the 786, which could be backup resistance, and that could also be part of that zone as well. So I'll incorporate that here between about 116,667 and 117,669. This would be the biggest area to look for a lower high. This does not mean that we cannot reject local fib levels, right? We do have some hyper local fib levels in here as well. I don't want to bring up too many levels to kind of confuse everybody. I'll just bring this up briefly. I would pull it from this high to the current low. This sits between about 114.8 all the way up to about 115.3. So that would be something that I would look at. But, if we get that 4 hour green dot, maybe we can if we get the bigger retracement, this is the level I would be looking at. You do have the confluence, and it would just be a pretty clean place to get the bounce, the retest of the value area low, and then a lower low to come. And then maybe that's where we see that 112 to 110K level if we don't just break down from where we are right now. Either way, guys, the bias is for more downside based off money flow right now. So until something changes there, if something crazy changes over the weekend, maybe I'll drop a market update or something like that. And, But until then, this is the bias, right? We were right yesterday. Probably going to be right again if we're listening to Money Flow this time. So we'll see what happens. You have the low time frame bull divs. This just confirmed, and it's just getting swallowed here. I mean, we just cannot catch a break. And if you guys have been tuning in, you will know that this level of support, in my opinion, was not that confluent, right? This was kind of an intermediary level of support. So, again, I really wouldn't be surprised to come back down to those bigger and more important levels, in my opinion. So, I'm praying for a bounce here, but I just don't know. It's not like this is like 5 levels of massive confluence or anything like that. But also, wouldn't be super shocking to get at least some kind of relief here, hopefully. And then, again, just watch this local Fibonacci retracement from the high, right? The local high to the low. I'll just keep this on the chart in case we do get a move here. Right, you do just want to be aware of that as well. There's no guarantee that you have to come up to the bigger fib, right? So if it's going to be more of an aggressive move, you might just put the lower high in here. So just be aware. Just be aware. I would say, I am in a long position. I don't really have high hopes for it, to be quite honest with you. Hopefully, if it's the chances of ripping up here, guys, I will just go over the bullish case as well. Like, if you're looking for a massive bounce here into new all-time highs, I would say this is definitely the lower probability situation. Just like it was here, right? But if we do push up there, you are literally banking against money flow, like we've been talking about, right? You're just assuming that this money flow is going to completely fake out, and you cannot just go against that, right? Can money flow fake out? Yes, but more often than not, you could see in this example, right? You're just going to want to listen to money flow. It's going to be right way more than it's wrong. So even if you think there's going to be a fake out, you still have to take into consideration that you have to take the indicator information at face value, right? Like, money flow's coming out here. Could it fake out? Sure, but how do you call that, right? You can't really call it. If it's coming out, it's coming out. So you do have to keep that in mind. And, with that being said, yeah, I hate to be the guy, right? But I would be looking for more downside. If we do get the bigger push up, I would say if you get up here, you get above the fib level, you get above this 786, I would still, be very, very cautious, because if you pull your full fib, right, from this high to the low, you still have some resistance on that's kind of the same levels, right? Value area low, golden pocket. When you're looking at the bigger one, it's the golden pocket value area low, anchored VWAP. When you pull the local one, you have the golden pocket 786, and then that POC is just sitting up there, which is also definitely going to be resistance, right? It's not until we flip that POC where I would be looking up to potentially come take out that liquidity sitting above $120,000, right? So flip the POC, flip that 786, you might be able to go take that liquidity. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're pretty far at this point. And I would say that's probably the less likely situation, at least from this level. So we'll see. If it happens, then we'll readjust our plan, and we'll be prepared for that as well. I am still holding my longs from lower, right? So we'll be covered on that end of the spectrum. And if we dump, hey, I'll stop out of this long, and that short will continue to pay us out. The short that I just showed you guys 5 minutes ago. All right, let's see. Shout out to Marcus, said BTC's bottom at BTC bottoms at 109.5, and we get the last leg up, and it's September, October to 145. Shout out to Marcus, bro. I can't argue with that, bro. I think that's a pretty plausible situation, and pretty much what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that we don't have to go down to the 108K level, but again, that 109.5 level is right on our next key level of support, and it would just kind of support our longer, no pun intended, would support our longer term thesis here, right? Come on down, right? Whether we get the relief here or not, right? Continue down, come into that 112 to 110K level, and then send it off into that last parabolic move. Finally get the rate cuts, see the altcoins blow off top, new all-time highs, and again, like, this drop down, guys, does not make me worried about that not being the case. So just keep that in mind. A little bit of hopium for you guys. All right, let's see. Hey, shout out to the moon. Shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for that super chat. He said, can you put some eyes on Ondo chart? Keep up the awesome work, brother. Shout out to the moon. Yes, we will take a look at Ondo. We actually looked at Ondo in the premium Discord today. I will cover Ondo for you, no problemo. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. I'm pretty sure you've been here, but I just saw your name for the first time. What is up, bro? Thank you for being here. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Celinda, says BTC generally has at least 10% corrections before the next leg up. Yes, and that's kind of why I like to zoom out with you guys, because it's like, this wouldn't be like on a higher time frame, right? Like, nothing goes up in a straight line forever, and we've been looking at this as like a potentially good place to put in a higher low and then send it back to the upside, right? And then you have the golden pocket 786. Once you start losing that 786, guys, I am probably decisively losing that 786. I'm probably looking closer down to 97K. Well, again, we'll reassess that situation if and when we have to deal with it. But yeah, I mean, listen, nothing goes up in a straight line. Were we worried here? Absolutely not. Were we worried here? I personally wasn't. I know a lot of people were. I tried to like ease the pain for everybody down here, letting them know like I'm not bearish here. We're looking for the higher low and the higher high, which we got. But we're not worried, right? We understand how the charts work. We understand nothing goes up in a straight line forever. And to be honest, like this, I don't know. Like this just would have made no sense to be the start of the bear market, in my opinion. Not impossible, obviously, but it's not breaking macro market structure, right? You're just coming back down pretty much to retest those range highs. And, looking at this range really helped us identify what we were seeing up here for the breakdown into retest those highs, very similar to what we had happen right here. So very, very interesting. And Bitcoin just trading so technically right now. So, we're going to take a look at the altcoins as well. Those are the local levels that I'm looking at. And my general plan, I'm holding the short. I'm holding my long from lower. Hopefully, if I get stopped out of that, I'll get stopped out for a few thousand profit. So it's not that big of a deal. But we'll see what happens. And I will keep you guys updated every single step of the way. Let's see. Shout out to... let's see. Cardano Boy. Welcome to Cardano Boy. I just picture you in like a Cardano superhero suit, bro. Shout out to you, man. He says, agreed. I don't know if you're agreeing with me or someone in chat, but shout out to you, man. Let's see. I love TA. Shout out to the king of Bitcoin. Let's go, baby. Absolutely. Darius said, I feel like lately we have some divs, and after I enter, we add some new divs that take me out and my trade, take out my trade and continue in my direction. Any tips, Frankie? Shout out to Darius. Typically, if you're getting stopped out right before, if you're trading divergences, it's a little bit more difficult. But a lot of the time when I know a lot of new traders wind up falling into this kind of problem, right, where it's like you look for price to come down into your entry. You take the entry. It might play out, a little bit, only for Bitcoin to come out, take the lows, and then send it back in the direction you originally thought. One of the best ways to avoid this is to trade swing failure patterns. What's usually happening here is like you have early longs and then price comes up and then washes out those early longs and then sends it to the upside. They like to wreck the longs and then send it in the right direction. So one of the best ways to do this or avoid this is to swing trade failure patterns. Trade swing failure patterns. So basically what you want to try to do is identify where the liquidity is. I'm not going to go into a full SFP lesson here tonight, but this is actually kind of similar to what we saw happen here, right? It was like last night. I think this was last night, right? What was yesterday? Yeah, 31st. So last night, we came down to this low, and I was even letting the talking to the premium Discord about this earlier today, right? I actually did see some nice confirmation, right, to potentially enter a long here, but I did sit out for a very specific reason. It was because we had the CME gap sitting down below, and we didn't physically tap it or fill it. So what happens, right? It's very similar. A lot of people probably took early long positions here on that big bounce to the upside, which is honestly like valid, right? Like I don't blame people for trying to take shots there, but what happens? Price comes down, and it wasn't like a big example of this, but you could see it comes down, it sweeps the low, and then gets another move to the upside. And what do you get here? You get a swing failure pattern of that wick, right? You get a wick below, closure above, and then you push it back up. Oftentimes what you'll see happen here is early longs will come in, they'll get washed out, and then the real move will happen. Not the exact situation that we had happen here, but that is oftentimes, if you watch my SFP tutorial video that I have on the channel, totally free, obviously, go watch that. It will help you kind of stop getting stopped out right before the move. But when you're trading divergences, like sometimes, right, like in this particular case, you did have divergences, but we just came right back down, right? So sometimes it's just unavoidable. But if it's happening to you constantly, you might just be a victim of liquidity hunts, which is basically if you trade SFPs, you're entering after the liquidity sweep, right? So instead of entering here and getting swept out of your position, you're actually, seeing the early longs and then waiting for the SFP to then enter your trade. Again, this isn't like a perfect example, but it was just, recent, so I wanted to cover that. But yeah, let's see. Yo, shout out to Ross. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, I've watched you for a long time. I don't watch you all the time, but you definitely had an impact on my trading. Money flow is awesome. Shout out to Ross. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I love to hear that, man. Super happy I was able to help you out in any way, shape, or form. Let's go. Show some love in the chat for Ross. Let's go, man. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate you so much, man. Let's see. Great knowledge, Frankie. Shout out to Crypto Breakfast Club. Yo, is that like a crypto radio show? Let's go. Get me on that thing. Let's go. But anyway, let's continue on here. Liquidity hunts. Shout out to Vegas Claw, bro. Crazy. Liquidity. Oh, God. Shout out to Lotus. Said, Frankie is so young and talented. I will take the young. I will take the young, bro. Thank you for that. I was in a meeting today on a video call, and I don't know if it was the lighting or whatever. I looked beat up. I was like, dang, man, I look 30. Crazy. But anyway, Rossum, shout out to Crypto Owl. Come on, baby. My favorite channel. Shout out to Young Buck Crypto. Come on. Guys, come on, guys. Oh, shucks. But anyway, guys, let's continue on. So that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. I do want to take a quick check-in on Ethereum. And if you guys watch the FOMC stream, funny enough, I will bring up the bigger Ethereum chart for a potential bigger pullback. But, during the FOMC stream, guys, we were looking at this volume profile. Literally found this live. Pulled up the lower time frames, right? Or 4 hour, not really a low time frame, but we just pulled this volume profile and we were like, hey, we got not the bearish news, but obviously no rate cut. It's like, hey, this might cause a dump. What are we going to be looking at for Ethereum? Well, hey, if you get stuck inside that volume profile, right, stuck under that value area high, the next stop is probably going to be the POC. And then once you lose that POC, you can look to come down to that value area low. And we've seen that fill absolutely perfectly, guys. The volume profiles are absolutely goated. I don't care what anybody says. This is the best trading tool you could possibly use. Obviously, I use multiple tools, but the volume, there's just nothing that can help you identify what is going to happen like a volume profile does. And then when you pair that with things like money flow coming into the red or at least coming to the downside, right, you can make some pretty good calls here, right? You're deviating above your volume profile. This is the overvalued asset, right? When you're above your volume profile, this is expensive. This is where you want to start looking for short positions, assuming that your money flow is in agreement here. There are situations where you can come up to a volume profile and obviously break out, but that would be supported by money flow. In this case, you had money flow crossing over into the red just randomly here on the 80-minute, right? You come down, you're looking to get accepted back in, and at the end of the day, you do wind up getting that full fill of the range. We even drew the line on the live stream. You're not always going to follow that line perfectly, but it just goes to show, right? I don't say this to brag. Oh, my God, look, I was right. I show this to, let you guys know, like, these volume profiles are, like, literally, and they're free, right? It's not something that I'm, like, pushing for a paycheck or anything like that. Like, this is, like, the best free tool you could possibly use. So we saw that fill in full just to show you guys how technical these volume profiles can be. But what happens if this money flow does not shape up? We do have the 4-hour money flow, which hasn't even crossed into the red yet, so we could still be pretty early here on a money flow crossover into the red. So what am I going to be looking at here with money flow coming out? I think you guys can probably run me in the chat on what I'm about to say. I would say any bounces here, right? And, you could get some relief here at some point, but we have to be careful of lower highs and lower lows to come. Why? Simply because of our money flow trending to the downside. The exact same thing we looked at on Bitcoin. This works on the daily, the 4-hour, the 5-minute, the 2-minute, the 3-minute, the weekly. It works on every time frame. It won't be right 100% of the time, but it barely misses, right? Shout out to Ross. He said money flow was awesome, right? Just like very, very rarely misses. If you guys want to check out Market Cypher, we do have a link in the description down below if you want to save some money. If not, don't be worried, right? I'm here live every day. You can check out my money flow, but it is definitely one of the best tools you could possibly use. All right, let's see. Oversold bounce to 116K coming. Shout out to Eugene. I think it's pretty plausible as well. I would honestly be pretty surprised, guys, if we get no relief here, right? Like if we could just get no relief, it would be, number one, brutal. Number two, it's just like we have the bull divs. I don't want to make it sound like it's guaranteed, but, there's definitely situations where you can just, just keep nuking. It's definitely possible. But, I mean, we have the signs here, right? That 1-hour bull div. You have the 2-hour. That's not really a bull div. It's like an exaggerated bull div. Green dot about to print. But even then, right, we have the 4-hour green dot that was flashing earlier today. Even this 4-hour green dot could give you a little bit of relief, potentially up into your local fib or even up into that 116K level. So I would agree. Let's see. Shout out to Andrew. Said, you're the best, Frankie. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. He says, what indicator are you using to pull those fixed range volume profiles? This is just a tool in TradingView. This is the fixed range volume profile. So you're going to come on down here to, I think it's projection tools. Forecasting and measurement, well, pretty close. Come on down here, volume-based, Anchor VWAP, fixed-range volume profile. That's where I get this tool. I have tutorials on the channel for free to show you exactly how to use them. Not only how to pull them, but where to pull them, but also how to trade them as well. So check that video out on the channel. And we also have the Frankie Candles Essentials Indicator, which is free, right? I'm not just shilling stuff here to get paid, guys. I will never just take a random. Anything that we have that's sponsored or anything like that is something I genuinely use and like. We're very picky about the things that we promote. This was made by Lux Algo, but it's 100% free. Go ahead and search this on TradingView. Click it. It's on your chart for free. No email, no nothing, no scammy sales tactics. Just get on there and you can follow along. If you can't, for some reason, get the fixed range volume profiles on your TradingView account, I think you might need the lowest paid account. It goes back and forth. Some people say they can't get it. Some people say they can get it on free. If not, we got it for free for you right here from Lux Algo. Shout out to Lux Algo. Frankie Candles Essentials. Click it on your chart. Same exact thing. You select your range. And this is actually a little souped up, right? We got it pulls up the divergences for you. So if you're new and you don't know what to look for divergences, it will actually mark out the divs for you. We have SauceCan, buy and sell signals. Not that they're treated like that, but they're basically reversal signals. Automatic Fibonacci levels. I have a video showing you guys how to use the indicator as well in the beginner series, I believe. So get this, it's free. No reason not to try it. And then you can watch that video to show a little bit more in detail, learn how to use it. But yeah, taking a look back at Ethereum here, guys. Let's pull up our actual bigger chart here. And you guys know, obviously, we had the local volume profile. We're deviating below that low right now. So again, could we get support here? This is also macro support. We have the value area high, which we are potentially getting stuck underneath. But just underneath that, we do have a daily MPOC sitting at 34.50. That is going to be kind of that backup support underneath the value area high. And if we can't get a bounce there and break back out, hey, we might be in store for a bit of a bigger correction. And could you imagine the bearishness and the, oh my God, bear market, no alt season that's going to happen if we have to come down to some of these lower levels? We'll cross this bridge when we get there. Just watch the 34 level. That's the closest level of support. And then you can use this volume profile as your guide to where price will likely go next. So, maybe we deviate below here a little bit. If we get some bullish confirmations, reclaim the value area low, push into the POC, back up to the value area high. If we pull our fib from the high to the low, you can see we do have confluence here on the golden pocket. Value area high, 786 sitting just above that. But this could be an area if we do get some kind of nice relief. Could be a lower high situation for lower lows based off money flow, right? That money flow is coming into the red. That's what we do, right? Coming up, money flow is coming out. It's like, well, hey, this is probably going to be a lackluster bounce for a lower high and a lower low. It's not the only level that you could reject, right? Really, the only other... Yeah, I mean, you could pull like more local fibs. I'm not going to pull every single one, but just understand, typically what I do here is I will pull the more local fibs and see where I have confluence, right? You have confluence still on the value area high there. Always going to be a key level at about 37.70. But then, you could also, this little lower high here has POC confluence, so I would probably be inclined to watch this as well. So these would be the biggest levels of resistance locally to watch on Ethereum, sitting between 36.32 and 36.75. And then if you get the bigger move up, watch that value area high starting at about 37.68 all the way up to the 786 at 38.41. If we put in lower highs after some relief, if we're able to get the relief, right, I would expect it to come in here or here if we're not just going to, send it back down to lower prices from where we are right now. And then if we do come down, right, big, only real big level that I can see here as far as MPOCs go is going to be, let me actually see something here. Where is, do I not have the weekly MPOCs on this chart? There they are. Let me just see something here real quick. Yeah, we don't have a weekly MPOC there. So we really only have the daily, we only have the daily MPOC. Yeah, I don't think there's a monthly. Where's that monthly MPOC? No, monthly MPOC is up there. Okay, so yeah, we have the daily MPOC sitting down there. So it's, just key levels, bigger moves to the downside I'd be paying attention to would be, oh, that's 10 hour. I was like, what the heck is that on POC? So you do have the 31.68 if you lose that naked point of control at 34.34. Watch down here. 31.68. If we lose that, you do start to come down to the much bigger level of confluence. And I believe, I don't think it's, is it this? Yeah. So here you do have the golden pocket, the structural highs, right? And then you have the also daily MPOC. So I would say, like, really, if we really start to see like a crazy pullback, this is going to be a big level to watch, guys, if I'm being honest, right? Because we don't really, if you get stuck inside this value area low, high, you could get the bigger move down. This is going to be a big level of support to look at, though. So just keep that in mind. I don't think we'll come down there over the weekend. $2,800 I would be watching. Structural highs, golden pocket, daily MPOC, and then the weekly and daily MPOC sitting right here at about 3,000. So biggest level of support for Ethereum, I would say between $3,000 and $2,800. And again, I don't know if you're going to get the bounce. I don't know if it's going to happen here or here. We'll have to wait until we get down there and have more information. But just to have you guys ready for these levels, right? It's a little bit less scary when you're like, okay, maybe we're going back for that golden pocket retracement. You're not thinking like, oh my God, it's all over, right? This would be a healthy correction, in my opinion, pulled from the low to the high. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at on ETH. But other than that, like, nothing really unexpected here, right? We've been looking at this key level of support for quite some time. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to if we lose ETH's 3K, the amount of the top is in comments. Yeah, it really is funny. Like, I mean, you can't really pay too much attention to that because this has happened, right? Like, bear markets here, these people come every single time there's a pullback. I don't know why they're like so passionate about the top being in and not just taking like a logical approach to the charts. But It is what it is. But so yeah, you do just kind of have to like manage those emotions, because sometimes, guys, I'm not gonna lie, right? Like I talk about this a lot. When we were pushing down to $75,000, right? Like I know what I'm looking at here on the charts. I know the signals I want to look for. Okay, cool. We're just all right. We know the signals we're looking for, but when everyone's saying the top is in, it's like I start to think to myself, right? I'm not impervious to the emotions, right? I sit here sometimes and I'm like, man, like, I hope I'm not the only one that's wrong here, right? But again, my information is based off actual data on the charts, right? I'm not just like, oh my God, this is scary, it's a bear market. I have actual reasons to look for the bounces. Doesn't mean they're going to play out, right? But more often than not, they will. So yeah, that's why I take an informational data-based approach to the charts, right? Because like the emotional people are just always going to be there. Like when we're pumping, they're going to be like, oh my God, $1 million. When it's dumping, oh my God, we're going to zero. It's pretty funny, especially after having a YouTube channel. Like this always happens, like in your friend group or whatever it is. But after having this channel, it's like it's so funny. Like eventually they will be right, though. I will say that broken clock's right twice a day. So eventually they will be right. But chances are most of those people that are saying the bottom, we're going down to zero. This is also important just as like a general rule. If you're just investing in crypto, doesn't even have to really do much with trading. But just understand here, guys, what do we see on all these bull market dips, right? We dip. People were saying bear market here. This was like the first time where I was like, I've never gotten so many comments or DMs like, oh my God, Frankie, is this the bear market? I don't want to lose all my money. Everyone was super bearish down here. Everyone was super bearish down here. But what does that mean for someone who understands how the market moves, right? Those are typically the lows that you want to buy, right? Oh my God, bear market, probably a good time to buy the dip. Oh my God, bear market, probably a good time to buy the dip. The time you do not want to buy the dip, right? Not that I would trade just based off this, but like, let's say we get the retest, right? We also have the bull market support band here at about 105K as well. That's worth noting. But let's say we come down for the bigger pullback, right? Everyone's super bearish, probably a dip that you would want to buy, not financial advice. But once you go into like the real big moves to the upside, once that happens, the pullbacks, you're going to notice like a lot of people are going to be much less bearish. They're going to be like, that's it, guys, buy the dip. This is the golden bull run. Those are the dips that you probably do not want to buy, right? So there's a lot to take away from the emotion from the masses at the lows, right? When they're bearish at the lows, you want to buy. But you'll notice, right? Like even back here, I've said this previously on the live stream, on this pullback, everyone was super bearish. Not that it was for a massive move back up, and we did get a decent move. But down here, guys, I mean, I couldn't count the amount of people that were saying 30K is the bottom, 30K is the bottom. I remember talking to somebody, and they were like, man, like, you see everybody saying 30K is the bottom? Like, Frankie, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, we have so many clear signs that the bear market was starting here. But what does that show you, right? When they get bullish on the dips, that's usually the dip you don't want to buy because it's to come up, put in a lower high, and send it into a bear market. But when you get those scary dumps where everyone's bearish, those are typically the ones you want to buy. I don't want to say the masses are wrong all the time, but most of the time they are. So just keep that in mind as well. All right, let's continue on here. Yo, shout out to 999 Forever said, so you're saying we're going to 8K. Exactly. Shout out to, yeah, I mean, listen, the Bears get crushed and the Bulls get crushed, right? Like the Bears that are looking for 100, Bulls that were looking for 100K here, wound up round tripping if they didn't take profit, right? And then the Bears here that were looking for 8K, also, we're not buying the bottom here, right? So that's why dollar cost averaging, not only on the way down, but also on the way up is usually the winning strategy here, guys. It's, it's very hard to just snipe the bottom and put your whole bag in at the tippy bottom. It's very hard. It's very emotional, right? Because then if you keep dipping, you're like, oh my God, should I sell at a loss and buy back lower? If you dollar cost average in, you can kind of just chill. Let your DCA bots or just, automatically buy on the way down. You don't care about the little ups and downs. You're just trying to get the ballpark bottom, right? I did not bottom tick the bottom of the bear market, right? This is very difficult to do, even for someone like me who is literally making videos about like where the bottom would come in. This was very dang close to where we were looking, but I'm still dollar cost averaging, dollar cost averaging, dollar cost averaging. I'm not trying to snipe the tippy bottom. I'm just trying to get in on that bear market to enjoy the big gains, right? I don't care about the little ups and downs, long term for the spot bags, right? At least, right? Same way on the way up, right? Like we push up. We hit our first target here, right? We came up to hit almost the bottom of our second target here. But, even DCAing in or out on the way up, right? Like take a little off, take a little off, take a little off, take a little off, right? That way you're not trying to like top tick the actual top of the bull market. Very difficult to do. And I'll be the first person to tell you that, right? So there you go, right? And then at least if you're waiting for, say, 175K and you're taking profits along the way and you top out at 140 and you come down, at least you make out with some money. Assuming that you're not just going to hold the rest of your bag all the way down. So, yeah, there you go. But let's continue on with some of these altcoins, guys. We took a look at Ethereum. I do want to jump into Solana real quick because we did see, whoops, come on over here. Bada boom. Bada bing. All right, so, there we go. Shout out to the premium Discord. We're actually looking at this as a very key level of support, but letting them know I was actually interested in long positions here on Solana, but did not enter as I was talking to the premium Discord in our live stream earlier. It's just, money flows going against you. You don't really have super good confirmations, and we were already starting to lose that 786. And when you lose that 786, guys, not only is it your 786, but it's also very confluent with your value area low. So, like, once you start losing that 786 and getting stuck under this value area high, not low, the next likely place to go is at least deeper into your profile, but, potentially, right, longer term, could be pointing towards the point of control, the range at $143. Now, this is not my base case. We have another big zone of support here. We were able to avoid that bad long position. And this is why I say trading is a game of hunting, not a game of just like setting limit orders, right? If I were to just set a limit order here for Solana, right, what would have happened? I would have gotten filled and I would have gotten instantly in the red, right? But what do we actually do? We see us come down to the level. We go zoom into the lower time frames. We look for those confirmations. And what do we see? We see a break of the 786, stuck under the value area high. I'm not long in that, right? And what happens? You get the bigger breakdown, right? So sometimes it's just as important to understand when to sit out of a bad trade than when to get into a good, as it is to know when to get into a good trade. So I would say the next big level of support for Solana here is going to be sitting at the daily MPOC at about 157.70, where we also have the golden pocket and another daily MPOC leading you down to 154.06, right? So we continue down there. We do have a big golden pocket there. I would be shocked if we didn't get some kind of a reaction out of this golden pocket if we do make it down there. I'm not saying you have to get a bounce into new all-time highs or anything like that. At this point, right, if you do get a bounce from this level, right, you're going to have to understand that you are inside the profile. So the value area high is going to then remain key resistance. I'll hide this 786. The value area high is sitting at $167. So, if this money flow, which I think we all know, right, money flow is going to look very similar on Solana as it does on everything else. For our money flow in the red, any bounce has to be looked at as lackluster for potential lower highs and then lower lows to come. If we cannot hold that golden pocket and you lose it, where are you going to be looking down to? Right towards the 786, which is confluent with some much bigger support here at the weekly MPOC and the point of control of your macro range. Is this the worst case? Is this bear market? Is this no alt season? I wouldn't say so, right? Because when we look at this is the golden pocket, 786 retracement of this entire move up. Technically, if we're going to look for big bounces for new highs to come, this would be the first level. This would be the second level. Once you lose that 786, that is much more bearish. You're definitely looking down towards the value area low and potentially beyond. So you do have some big support down here. We'll keep an eye on Solana for you guys. I'll keep you updated if anything changes. And I will just take this off the chart. And just to show you guys, like once you lose the golden pocket, you are anticipating the 786. It was the same thing up here, right? We come down to the golden pocket. Zoom out here, right? You come down to the golden pocket, you get the bounce, and then you get the second approach. When you approach these fib levels for the second time, they are not as valid, right? If you're going to put in the higher low and a higher high, it is more likely to happen on the first test. What happens? You come down for the second test. What do you know? It doesn't hold. You break down. Once you lose that golden pocket, where are you looking to? 786. And that was the next place you get the turbulence. But unfortunately, we got accepted back into that profile. So that's what I'd be looking at on Solana. Very similar to everything else, right? Like continuations of these pullbacks could be key, or not key, but likely. And, it's not just the money flow, guys. It's also these high time frame red dots that we've been keeping an eye on. 4-day red dot, 5-day red dot, 6-day red dot, weekly red dot. Potentially coming. It's not printing yet on Solana. So keep an eye on that, right? We also have the weekly red dot on Bitcoin as well. Just keep that in mind, right? And again, not just a weekly red dot, but also the bearish divergence also covered on the live stream, right? Doesn't mean bear market necessarily, but you do have the higher highs. You do have the lower highs. This is a red dot, indicates downside. This is a bearish divergence, indicates correction. So many things on the chart pointing towards this. And if you guys have been watching, shout out to you because you have been aware of all this stuff. And it shouldn't be that much of a shock. And hopefully it took some of that motion out of the dump. All right, let's see. I'm going to check in on chat and then we'll take a look at some more altcoins here. Shout out to Flatsmack, said, buy the dip, pump my bags. Let's go. Shout out to Flatsmack. We'll have to team up with Golden and throw a fat bag in there. Golden was saying yesterday that he sold a bag and that's why we were dumping. Pretty unfortunate. Shout out to Golden. Golden, buy in again, brother. All right, let's see. Let's see. Look for opportunities. Yeah, shout out to Seth Shepard. Yeah, like I'm not necessarily selling my Solana bags at all. Right, again, my longer term thesis here, guys, is still remaining the same. Yo, shout out to Michael Williams, said like the smash button, 1,000 likes, or the puffer button. Shout out to Michael. Let's go. Smash that like button if you guys appreciate the free content. All right, let's see here. Shout out to Olgar, says bear divs on the 3-day, 4-day. Yeah, let's come back over to Bitcoin real quick. Yeah, like we have actually, let me pull up a cleaner chart here. Let me zoom in. Bada boom. Whoops. There we go. No 3-day bear div, right? I mean, yeah. You do, right? You have the higher high. You have the lower high technically, but you don't have a local, right? If you look at this from like a longer term perspective, right? You have actually momentum trending up here on the 3-day locally. You do have the bear div there, but I wouldn't pay as much attention to that, to be quite honest. 4-day bear div, yeah, it is there. I pay more attention to the weekly, right? Like this weekly is a little bit, yeah. I mean, I guess you could look at that. It's definitely there, right? Like momentum kind of coming out, but it's kind of coming up locally. It's kind of the same thing on the weekly as well, which is why, right? It's not like, we had a weekly bear div come in at the top of 2021, right? It's almost very similar, to be quite honest, right? Like, could this be the top? I can't say it's impossible. Again, it's not the camp that I fall in, but, not all bear divs are created equal. We talked about this back when we had the weekly bear div right here, right? People were like, Frankie, don't you see the weekly bear div? This is what happened in 2021. That was the top. The top is in, right? And it's like, I totally see that, and obviously it was a bearish signal, and obviously we did get the drop to the downside. This was something we were looking at, but not all bear divs are created equal, right? Like, from a cycle perspective, from a from a macroeconomic perspective, no rate cuts, no alt season, like it just made a lot of sense for this not to be the bear market. I would say, anytime you put in another bearish divergence higher, like it comes more and more likely that the top is in. But, still here, just from a longer term perspective, even if we had to endure some kind of a crazy pullback, it's, I wouldn't say this is necessarily as alarming as it was in 2021, right? 2021, not only did we have the weekly bearish divergence, but we also had, like, on the way down there, money flow absolutely nuking to the downside, which typically does indicate bear market territory. And here, money flow is not really tanking out just yet. If we get a massive drop down and that starts coming out, maybe we can reassess the situation. We could start talking about maybe no alt season or something like that. But all it takes, guys, this market will flip on a dime. If we get those rate cuts, guys, things can change very, 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 very quick. So that's just my 2 cents. But let's continue on here. If you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Hey, Rob, let's do a list of 3 altcoins because we do have some giveaways to get to today as well. So drop those altcoins in the chat. And Rob the Crypto Snob will make up a list for us, count up the votes, and let us know what we're looking at. Shout out to Rob, says, the light goal only add to the already 20 bags of ADA we're giving away tonight. Yeah, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. We are going to be giving away 20 bags of Cardano. So let's go, baby. All right, let's see. Polkadot, Ton, H-Bar. Like the stream, dang it. That's what Eddie C says. Let's go, baby. Pendle. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. We have not taken a look at Pendle in quite some time. Yo, GTA saying, let's see. Drop those LSLS emojis in the chat if you got them. But let's see here. Chainlink. Yeah, let's take a look at Chainlink. What does Bitcoin dominance look like? Actually, that's a good point. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance really quick. So what do we talk about here, guys? And again, shout out to anybody who watches this show every day. Is this unexpected? You're right. It's not unexpected. Why is it not unexpected? Well, we lost that POC. We looked for the drop down to the value area low, but we know, right? This is exciting for altcoins, but this is support, right? Could we get a bounce here? Well, we were saying, could you get a bounce here? Absolutely at the value area low. What would this very likely do? This would very likely give us corrections, especially on the altcoins. This is very similar to what we saw here back in 2021. You get the fill of the range, the drop below the POC. What is happening to your daily money flow? I'll pull up the daily here real quick. Right, your daily money flow is crossed into the red here. What does this mean? Does this mean that you can't get rallies off the value area low? No. You get a rally there. You get a rally here. You get another bounce here. This is what creates the turbulence on the altcoins. But if that money flow stays cooking to the downside, the obvious continuation, the higher probability continuation would be to the downside for a breakout out of the range. The same way we predicted the breakdown on the Bitcoin chart of the range that we were in is the same way that we predicted on dominance, right? Money flow coming out, you have to lose that value area low, but in the meantime, if you hit that value area low, it's going to be support until proven otherwise. So we've literally been ready for this, right? Little bounces. Don't be surprised if you get the altcoin corrections, right? But if money flow stays out, you eventually look for that breakdown for alt season to eventually begin. And we do still have some time till September, guys. So, there is time to get some turbulence, some moves to the downside. Hopefully nothing crazy happens that would like jeopardize never seeing an alt season. But if it happens, I'll be the first person to let you know. But, hey, like dominance could cook. Dominance could cook a little bit. So, altcoins could continue to pull back, right? We've been covering those lower levels for quite some time. It does not change the longer-term outlook, though, right? Didn't change it here. It is not going to change it here, right? Key levels of resistance I would look at, right? We have our golden pocket retracement right on that POC, sitting between 63.84 all the way up to 64.83. That's kind of weird. But again, maybe we see something very similar happen to what happened in 2021. We bing bong around here, and then boom, we get the rate cuts, and everything just comes kind of dominance just kind of totally dumps to the downside, right? We don't want this for alt season, right? This could indicate maybe the start, but this is what you want, right? You just want total bloodbath on dominance. That's what we're looking for. And for what it's worth, money flow in the red. As long as we can keep that in the red, it should be pretty good. Right? And I would take a look at the weekly money flow, which is thick in the green. Taking a look back here. Honestly, the weekly money flow is a little bit harder to, like even here, you got the crossover into the red, massive fake out, back up, and then finally back down. So not as much to take away here. I mean, this cycle has been much more Bitcoin focused, if you guys haven't realized. I think like the biggest pain point of this cycle, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Thank you for the alt list. I appreciate you so much, bro. The overall kind of this whole cycle, right? Like if you haven't realized, like alts have been kind of just like left behind here. Right? It's been a very Bitcoin focused cycle, and it's very, very evident here when looking at money flow. So, hopefully we don't see something like this, right, where it just cooks above the POC and then shoots back up towards the value area high. That would be very bearish for altcoins, but we'll see what happens, right? You do have key resistance here. Wouldn't be impossible, in my opinion, to see what we saw happen back in 2021, right? Just kind of bing bong around that POC value area low until you finally lose it. And money flows heading in the right direction on the daily. So that is what it is. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye on this, just seeing exactly what we're looking for, to be honest, guys. But let's jump in here. First altcoin on the list, Chainlink. Yeah, we have not taken a look at Link in a while here. Let's go ahead and jump in there real quick. And here we are. So just for context, here's your bear market range, right? A lot of altcoins still kind of sitting down here, right? Got the move initially here in December, January 2024, December 2023, January 2024. When you impulse out of this range, price is going to seek out fair value. Where is the fair value? It is sitting up here inside your volume profile. You impulse, you gravitate towards that value area low, resistance. You tried to get back in, couldn't do it. Come back down for another retest of the range high, and then you get a higher low, a higher high. And the hope here, guys, I'll give you the local levels and kind of the line in the sand here for Chainlink, right? So if I pull this from the low to the high, you put in your higher low right on the golden pocket 786 where you would want it, and then we pull that next fib from the current low to the high. Trying to hold on there. Really, really, really trying to hold on there. I would say you really do not want to lose this 786 at about 1298. Right? This is a big, big key level on Chainlink, in my opinion. To the upside, very, very clear, right? I was trying to see if I can move this volume profile at all. This is, don't take this. Yeah, I'll just keep this, right? Value area low. This is still your doorway to higher prices. You flip this back to support. Could eventually fill that profile. I'm actually going to take this upper profile off the chart so it's less confusing. And actually, let me do this real quick. Let me grab all this, put it in a folder. Bring it up here. I'm actually going to pull this and incorporate all that other price action. I just want to see where this lies. It's not as clean. It's cleaner over here than it is over here, which is interesting. So this is another like macro profile that you can look at, right? You have your deviation below the value area low. This is your cheap asset, right? Then you look for a reclaim of support into the POC, back to the low. You finally fill the profile in full. So just an honorable mention, this is a bit of a bigger range that you can look at. POC sitting at about 1565. I don't know if you're going to hold this, but if you lose it, you're really, I'll be honest, guys, like you just really don't want to lose this 786 if I'm being honest. If you do, I'd be looking down towards about 944. Does this mean no alt season or anything like that? I mean, listen, it would be very strange, in my opinion, to see the, something like Chainlink not make a new all-time high. That's just my opinion. But This is going to be the bigger range to look at. Value area low sitting at 938, POC at 1548, and then the value area high sitting at about 2624. And this is kind of clean, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, these are just two valid profiles. So I'm just going to keep both of these on my chart. All right, if I hide the one that I just made, let me just hide the macro. Whoops. Boom. Hide that, right? So volume profile one that I would watch here is going to be value area low 1686, POC 2714, value area high 3169, and then the bigger range is sitting right here. You guys can take these 938 value area low, 1548 POC, value area high 2624. That's what I would be watching. But overall, 2-day money flow still in the green here. VWAP chilling below the zero line. But locally, 4-hour money flow in the red. Lackluster bounces to the upside for continuations down. That's what I'd be looking at. And again, I would just be looking at those Fibonacci retracements. You know, you have your full fib from the high to the low, assuming this is the low, right? If it comes back down, you have to move that fib. But you could also pull from the lower high, and then potentially even look at some of these like more local, like lower high pulls as well. This is probably confluent with a value area low locally right here, if I had to guess. There it is. Right? So just some local levels. I'm not going to cover every single level here just to save time, but, you know, I'm not going to try to call every little up and down, but, you know, if you get some relief here, I'd be careful around this level at about 1725 up to about 1770. So there you go. That's what I look at on Chainlink. And again, guys, general thoughts on most of altcoins, right? I'm going to cover the levels, but my general thoughts are the same, right? As far as like the long-term continuation through the rest of the bull market. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Emery. Said, okay, let's talk Bitcoin going down. Yeah, Bitcoin continuing to push down here just a little bit. Let's see here. We're losing the 786, guys. I'm just going to say it. I mean, you really need to reclaim this 786. This is the key level. 113, 190. Could you put in some low time frame divs and maybe like scoot back up there? I don't know. But let's see here real quick. Bear with me 1 second here, guys. I'm going to pull up my face cam real quick. Where's OBS at? Bada boom. Let me pull up my face cam real quick here. I don't want to leak my social security number or anything like that. Okay. I wasn't going to leak my I was trying to pull up the trade, but I thought the login screen was there. But it wasn't. There we go. I was just checking in on the short. And oh man. Yikes. Man, thank God for being able to make money on the way down, guys. So short up 1,700, 400 locked in. I'm going to hold this. Stop loss still in profit, but still cooking along here on the short position. So we'll see. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to keep trailing that stop loss down too if we continue. But there's the break of the key level, guys. I don't know, man. I don't know. Unless one of these low time frame dids can save us. Maybe we hit the key levels that we're looking at here on the live stream. That wouldn't be very common. Typically, Bitcoin, I mean, let's be real. Probably I'll sign off here, and then immediately after signing off, we'll probably hit those key levels. But let's continue on. Yeah, shout out to Amit said, I hope you're doing good on the hope you're doing good on the short because the long did not do well. Yes, absolutely. Long cooked. Long is cooked, guys. Let's see. Shout out to Nicholas said, dude said crypto is a scam. Bottoms in. Yeah, no, crypto. I mean, they've been calling crypto a scam since I got into crypto, and Bitcoin's done just about nothing but go up since then. Right? When in doubt, zoom out. Doesn't look like a scam to me. If it's a scam, this is the best scam ever. A scam that just keeps on paying you. All right, let's continue on. Gen Z said Cap just popped a Molly. Oh, God. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Said they wouldn't even prescribe me pain meds. That's crazy. Yeah, I heard they're crazy about prescribing pain meds. Thank God. I haven't personally experienced that, but people who have been in the hospital, I've heard it's very hard to get pain medication. Maybe for a good reason, potentially. But let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to pump this weekend. Hopefully. XRP, yeah, we could take a look at XRP, no problem. It's the coolest Ponzi scheme ever. Yeah, it might be a Ponzi, but it's a cool Ponzi. All right, let's jump in. Wick589 in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and check out XRP. Took a look at Chainlink, took a look at Ethereum, took a look at Solana. Let's take a look at XRP here real quick. And that's not our XRP chart. Here we are. Oh my God, stuff is so bubbly. Good Lord. Send it all the way up. Shout out to Mountain Magnets. Let's go. Please pump these alts finally. Yeah. It's and hopefully, I mean, I know I said this 100 times, but I really hope understanding, looking for these pullbacks, right? Like, it's a very scary situation, right? No alt season. Alt season's canceled. Oh my God, right? But we've been looking for these pullbacks, right? And at the end of the day, I'll just, for XRP, because I have the chart up, right? We have the local levels. I can actually get this off. Right? We held it up very, very locally here. But we broke back down. We lost this fib level. What's the next key level that we were looking at down below? We had the anchored VWAP sitting here at about 290. It's now sitting at 291. If we can't hold this, guys, I mean, the next stop, in my opinion, is probably going to be the range high, which is the first big level, right? All the other local levels were just like in case we had some kind of like an aggressive continuation up. But when we look at this from a high time frame, the thought process here is bigger pullback, push into the golden pocket, value area high. This is really that big level, and not even really the line in the sand for it all to be over. The line in the sand for me on XRP for a much bigger continuation down would be the daily MPOC 786 sitting at 230. But, a pullback, right? You get the initial breakout, you pull back down, you could come back down and retest these highs, right? And again, if you need an example of this playing out, you could look at things like Dogecoin. You could look at like any other big breakout. I mean, even heck, look at Bitcoin when we drop down to 75K, right? It's just like, you break out of a range in a very, very big way. You get the initial big breakout, you come back down, you retest, and then you put in the higher low and the higher high. Is it possible that there's no alt season? Sure, right? But again, I just understand, like, if those rate cuts come, it's so funny, right? Because, like, when we get the pullbacks, people will feel the pain. But then when you get the pumps, people are like, oh my God, I didn't buy the dip again, right? So that's why I try to keep people prepared for this stuff. So you're aware of the pullbacks incoming, so they're less scary and you're more likely to buy the dip. I'm not telling you have to buy the dip. This is not financial advice. Hey, maybe alt season doesn't happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't care who you watch, what traders, doesn't matter. Anyone will tell you who actually trades and understands how the market moves. They will tell you, they'll be the first people to tell you that no one knows if this thing is going up or down, right? Really all you're doing is using the TA to find the highest probability and using other information too, rate cuts, all that stuff, macroeconomics, to understand the highest probability. But at the end of the day, guys, if we get to September and they push rate cuts again, there's going to be more blood for sure, right? Like, that's just a fact of the matter. I wish I could come up here and say, like, alt season's guaranteed. I personally think it will come. But nothing is a guarantee, right? When you start thinking in absolutes and being extremely decisive in your decisions as far as like what you think is going to happen, it gets very, very dangerous, right? Because then you're not keeping an eye out. Like even me, right? What was the higher probability here? Higher low, not breaking market structure, higher low, higher high. That was the higher probability. That's what we played. It wound up playing out, right? But that does not mean that when we're down here, I would ever say 100%, this is definitely not the bear market. I might say, I believe this is not the bear market and this is what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, guys, if you crack some other key levels down here, you got to be ready to understand where those key levels and those lines in the sand are to flip your bias, right? Because it's not, some people, it's so funny. Some people will be like, you say it pumps and dumps, so you're right either way. It's like, well, no, I make money in either direction, so you have to be able to flip. If you want to trade, you have to be willing to say, hey, my initial idea and the probability that I was going with is wrong. Now let me adjust my plan, not hold my bags to the bottom, and potentially flip short to make money on the drop to the downside, right? So I wish I could say there's a 100% guarantee that the alt season will happen. I do believe that, but I would never say it's 100% probability. I can't say that. That's not how things work. So yeah, I mean, they push those rate cuts. I mean, that is what it is, right? But me personally, I do think once those rate cuts come in, might you have to endure some more pain? Possibly. But again, we are seeing the dominance start to line up with the way we want to see it. And again, we're expecting these pullbacks, right? So if you're like coming to the chart and you're like, oh my God, the alts are dumping again. It's like, we've been waiting for this, right? Anticipating it. So yeah, and even if you watch my price prediction videos that I dropped last week, or actually this week too, in those videos, I even talk about like, hey guys, this is a longer term prediction, right? Like we could get pullbacks. And I think even brought some of the key levels up. I think on XRP, I'd be shocked if I didn't bring up this range high, right? So could be in the cards. Would it scare me? No alt season? No. Is there a point where I would say, well, hey, like maybe alt season's delayed or canceled? Yes. But when that happens, I'll let you guys know. But I would be okay with the push down to this value area high golden pocket daily MPOC sitting between 260 and 250. So there you go. Hey, shout out to Amit. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, could you take a look at Jupiter? Sus. Shout out to Amit. Yes, I will try to take a look at Jupiter. Let me just write that down. Always remember, guys, you do not have to super chat your altcoins. It does not guarantee that we look at your alts. I will try my best, but we have our list here, and you can always drop your suggestions in or requests in the chat, and I will always try to take a look at as many coins as I can. Let's see here. So we took a look at XRP. Yeah, that's the next big key level I would look at. Right now, we're testing that anchored VWAP at 290. 291. So, hopefully we can hold this. This is a pretty big level. But once we lose that, right, if we get stuck underneath that anchored VWAP, probably the bigger drop down to these levels. So just be aware and prepared, right? So there we go. Shout out to Boot Time said, is it the bear market? Shout out to Boot Time. I don't personally think so. Shout out to Bizkits, or Biscuits, as some people like to call them. What is going on, man? Welcome in. Cookie, man, a lot of people looking for Cookie as well. Everybody's trying to take a little piece of the pie, a little piece of the cookie. Get your hands out of the cookie jar. I don't know why I'm like this, guys. All right, so let's continue. Cake, cookies. We got all the food in the chat right now. 80% fart, 20% cash. Shout out to Nirvana. Can't hate on that. All right, so let's continue on here. Sui Ando Link, Solana. Okay, so let's jump back in here. H-bar. Let's take a quick look at H-bar. Not Habar. Where are we at? I believe it's the Bybit chart. Of course, I'm wrong. Coinbase chart. Of course not. Oh, no, that's... What am I doing here, guys? I'm tripping. It is definitely Friday here, guys. It's so funny. There's like a clear decline in my brain cells on a Friday. Stare at charts as long as I do. I'm lucky to last till Friday. But here we are. We have our, all right, so let me just see this real quick. Yeah, so we had from the impulse to the high, we had the retest of the golden pocket, and you did get the higher high, right? So you have your higher high, boom, break a structure into the POC. Very nice. But when we extend that up to, I would still say this is the key level of support on H-bar, right? 24 cents all the way down to 22 cents. I would say if you lose this, right, again, how probable is it that we lose this? I would argue, right, as long as Bitcoin is pulling back, the alts are probably going to follow. You start losing this golden pocket, can't get back inside that volume profile. I'm looking down towards the 786. Honorable mention, you have the anchored VWAP sitting here at about 22 cents. So, lose the golden pocket at about 23 cents. I'm looking down towards the 786 anchored VWAP, and this level has moved a little bit because the anchored VWAP moved. This does sit between about 22 and 21.5 cents. Lose the golden pocket, looking down towards that 786. That is just the way it is. If you can't hold this, right, and we lose that 786, it's very similar to what we were just looking at. Lose the 786, you're looking back down, right? You're invalidates the idea of a potential higher low coming in there, and you're going to be looking for the bigger drop down to the value area high, golden pocket confluence, sitting right here between about 20 cents and 18 cents, right? 0.199 to 0.188. Now, this is the golden pocket when pulled from the absolute low from June all the way to the high. This was a massive rise to the upside, right? And I think a big reason why people struggle with feeling pain on the altcoins is because they have this vision of like magic alt season where everything goes up in a pin straight line. New all-time highs. Oh my God, my portfolio's 5xing every single time I refresh it, whatever it is. This is only what happens at the end of the cycle. This is what happens when Bitcoin puts in its true all-time high, starts building out a top, and then the actual alt season starts. That happens at the end of the cycle. It's like the finale of the fireworks show. We are not there yet, right? So these pullbacks are expected, right? So we have the massive move up. I didn't even look at the percentage here, right? 140%. It's okay to retrace a little bit. This is a local level. This is a local level. This is a local level. Right? If we continue down, when you're looking at the full Fibonacci retracement, this golden pocket value area high is huge, right? Retest of the range highs, again, right? We finally break out of our, break down out of this lower range. You get the impulse. You come back into your area of balance. It would not be impossible to come back, retest that range before snapping back up to higher prices. Now, with that being said, let me get rid of some of these brushes. Right? If we don't hold these local levels, which again, if Bitcoin keeps correcting, these are local. I wouldn't look at these as like major levels. But if you lose that 786, this is your first major level of support. Range high, golden pocket. Start breaking down below that. I think, honestly, higher probability that you head on down towards the 786, towards the value area low. That's your last chance to bounce. You break down below this, yikes, right? That's where things would get a little bit suspicious. So yeah, you still have a lot of room to come down there, right? This, I would consider a healthy pullback. It's not fun, but it does happen, right? It's just a part of the game. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on HBAR. Money flow-wise, everything still looks the same as all the other alts. 2-day money flow in the green. What does this make us anticipate? Red dot, probably going to get a cool-off, right? You get the cool-off. Once that VWAP crosses back over, as long as that money flow is still in the green, you look for higher lows, higher highs, right? I don't know exactly where it's going to come in. It looks as of right now, with the way the medium time frame money flow looks, it looks like we could continue down a bit more. So I would definitely be keeping an eye on those bigger macro levels. That's what I'm looking at on HBAR. There we go. Don't forget to pull your fib. Shout out to Chris L. Shout out to you, man. Said these dumps give us a chance to DCA at lower prices. Shout out to Chris. Yes, I would agree with that. Shout out to Sky Crypto. Said awesome TA. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. And Wick589 with the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. He says, get well, Jesse and Captain Kirk. Shout out to Wick589. Yes, absolutely crazy. Cap, are you still in here? I don't want to. I would never show a picture without you saying it's okay. But Captain was showing me a picture of some of her injuries. Pretty gnarly. Thank God you are okay, Cap. We love you. And again, Jesse, we are wishing you guys a speedy recovery. Crazy. 2 motorcycle accidents so close to each other is insane. In the Mafia. That's wild. All right, let's see. Short XRP, 50X, not financial advice, but good life advice. Shout out to Steve. Oh God, it's okay. It's okay. I can show it. Shout out to Cap. Just give me a clear I can show it, and I will show it. I'll show it on the fake out. It is pretty gory though, so just be aware. I don't know. Is that like a guideline thing? I don't know. But they are brutal. They are brutal pictures. But Cap, thank God you're okay. For the most part. Shout out to Crypto Max. He said, if you ain't selling, then you're holding. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. I'd have to agree. Captain looked rough, but you should see the car that suffered her headbutt. Shout out to Wick589. Cap is strong. Let's go. Don't get canceled. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Okay, she said you could show it. Yeah. I might show it on the fake out. I don't know if it's going to be like a guideline thing. We might get a band or something, but yeah, pretty wild. But shout out to Cap and Jesse. Is a fake out if it's announced? Anyway, let's continue on, guys. All right, we took a look at HBAR, Link, Solana, Ethereum. Let's take a look at ADA or ADA, as some people like to say. Does anybody say ADA? I don't know. Where is Cardano here real quick? Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. He said, this channel is set for all audiences. Show it in Discord. All right. I don't want to post Cap's pictures everywhere. That feels like an invasion of privacy. But shout out to Tony D. Guys, he's the boss, guys. I'm just like the puppet on camera. Tony D is really the guy taking the trades, doing the TA. I'm just here. I'm a puppet, guys. I'm a puppet. Tony D's the boss. But anyway, let's continue on. Okay. So Cardano again, right? We're pulling back. Oh, my God. Well, what happened, right? We came down to resist, or up to resistance, rather. And, again, these pullbacks are, anticipated, guys. And I never want it to come off like we can't just, like, go to zero. But, again, this is not my base case, right? What is something that you can look at to kind of give, like, get your footing? Like, oh, my God, we're falling. Like, where's the floor, right? You're just going to pull from the full move. Bottom to the high. Golden pocket. I think Mrs. Candles is cooking something. But here you go. Golden pocket sitting right here. I mean, I'm just going to give you the basic levels, right? I'm not going to break down every single nitty-gritty level here on every single altcoin. It would take forever. Golden pocket sitting at 67 to 65 cents. This could be, right? If you're looking for higher lows and higher highs, this could be an area to watch, right? Lose the golden pocket, you are simply looking down towards the 786. This is your next place to bounce. Once we lose that 786, it becomes much more probable that you're going to take out this low. Which means lose the 786. Value area high is really your last line of defense, even though losing the 786 would make me anticipate taking this low. But you do technically have the value area high, which, again, would kind of be the same situation that I looked at on everything else. I mean, we've kind of, I'll be honest, right? Like, you get the breakout, retest of the high, retest of the high, retest of the high. Yikes. Lose that value area high. I would be looking, and this is a local fib, obviously, but you lose that value area high, you could dig toward that point of control, which does sit at about 38 cents, 0.379. So keep an eye on that. But your full Fibonacci retracement here, you have an untapped 786 here, right? So there's your initial breakout. Something like that. We could get a lot of chop here, guys. We have a little bit of time until September comes in. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. First key level, golden pocket, 67 to 65 cents, 786, sits right here at about 60 cents. Lose that, I'm coming to test this level. Once you get accepted into the value area, I'd be looking down towards the 786 POC. This is going to be a big level as well. Now, once we lose this 786, that's a bit more bearish, right? Then you're probably much more probable to fill the entire range as you would typically expect, right? But what do we have on our money flow on the higher time frames? 2-day money flow, still trying to stick in the green. We spent a ton of time here in the red. 126 days to be exact. Money flow is crossed over into the green. As long as we can keep this money flow in the green for the most part, we could look for the higher lows, higher highs, right? Hopefully we don't have to deal with something like that. That would be absolutely brutal. But it is in the cards, right? And again, that sits between 43 and 37 cents. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at on Cardano. And again, what are some other things that we were looking at here to anticipate the pullback? 4-day red dot, 5-day red dot looking to print, 6-day red dot looking to print, weekly red dot looking to print, right? Just right on time. Right on time. Now, we're hoping that it is going to be a lackluster pullback for a higher low and a higher high. Doesn't mean you can't break down, but like these pullbacks are anticipated. So shout out to anybody who watches this show every day. And if you don't watch the show every day, start watching it so you can stop getting scared on these dumps. All right, let's see. Shout out to Pandemonium. Said, hey, Mafia. What is going on, Pandemonium? Welcome in. Gen Z says 1K likes equals $200 in Sol being given away on tonight's live stream. We do have to get to the giveaways pretty soon here, but we do have some other alts to cover. Mountain Magnet said, come on, Ada. You can do it. You can do it. Shout out to Cryptotone, or Kryptone, as we like to call him, said, I left to get food, and my homie is still streaming. LFG, let's go. Shout out to Kryptone. Welcome in, bro, or welcome back in. All right, so let's continue on here. We knocked off the list, and I guess we'll go over to some of our other honorable mentions here. Jupe. The question was, is Jupe sus? Whew, more sus than I've ever thought. I'm just kidding. Let's take a look here. So when we actually looked at Jupiter not too long ago, so we actually do have some valid levels here. Let me just grab this fib. Believe this is the full fib from the low to the high. Here we are tapping into the POC golden pocket. Anchored VWAP gave you nothing. Yikes, right? But this is also a key level, right? It's key support, right? But when you have money flow coming out, it's like, well, hey, we're probably not going to hold this. And if we lose it, where's that next key level? Well, it's sitting right down here towards the POC golden pocket. This is support. Trying to hold on to the bottom of that golden pocket. I mean, you got some kind of bull divs, but look at your money flow cracking to the downside here. I wouldn't say it's like the most beautiful, beautiful setup. At this point, right, you've deviated above the high, gotten back into your range. Next likely place for price to go is eventually going to be that point of control. If you cannot reclaim point of control, hit your head. Maybe you play around with it a little bit, but if you cannot reclaim this decisively, the next stop, in my opinion, would be the value area low, 786 Fibonacci retracement. The nice thing here, I know this looks like a scary drop, but the nice thing to understand here, guys, is going to be that if you lose this golden pocket, you got your 786 in confluence with that value area low. And if you're looking for, at your fib from the low to the high, this is your last opportunity to get the bounce. Lose this 786, yikes, right? Like that is where you can look for the crack of this low. But at the end of the day, we're just still within this range, right? And the fact that you have the 786, I mean, this is perfect confluence. This is what I like to see. Golden pocket POC. If money flow looked better on the medium time frames, right? I mean, you still have your 10-hour money flow coming out, 6-hour money flow coming out, 5-hour money flow coming out. I would say like this being the bottom is probably less likely at this point, right? So maybe you get a bounce, but I would look. Make sure you get don't get the lower high, or I would be looking for the lower high, and then an eventual fill of this range into the 786, which sits right here at about 40 cents, right? So maybe get a little relief here, but with the way money flow looks, fresh crossover here on the 5-hour, 4-hour fresh crossover at this point, lackluster retracements, lower highs and lower lows. The nice thing is you still have decent support down here, and the volume profile gives you a beautiful roadmap to where price is probably going to go next. I know it's not fun to anticipate these moves down, but again, it's not really until you start losing these levels that I would really start to flip much more bearish. So we'll see how things develop. We'll check in on it, and I'll keep you guys updated. Let's see. Shout out to Eugene says, I got the bong. Who's binging? Shout out to Eugene. Sometimes I got to read these chats before I read them out loud. But anyway, Dogecoin, yes, we could take, Gen Z, the lip bite emoji is crazy, bro. I love that that's an emoji. Like Tony D will send me a thumbnail. He's like, how do you like this for the thumbnail tonight? And I'll just send him a lip bite. Like, oh, man, that's a good one. But anyway, shout out to Sakura in the chat. Welcome in, welcome in. Don't trip by the dip. Shout out to My Passive Freedom. Let's go. Yeah, shout out to Spinner Trade says BTC and ETH are the only two cryptos that matter. Everything follows BTC and all alts follow ETH. Can't fight that, right? That's generally true. All right, let's see. Yo, the lip bite is crazy. Okay, so let's continue on. That was Jupe. Let's take a look at Cookie. Everybody wants to see Cookie. Everybody wants a piece of the cookie, guys. All right, so we actually looked at this recently as well. Well, there we go. Okay, well, hey. Yeah, we looked at this, I think, yesterday, maybe the day before, where we have the value area low. When was this? This was, yeah, yesterday. You had the value area low. You lose the value area low. Next key level to look at is this 786. I knew that was going to be a 786. This is the level you want to hold. I'm not going to lie. You have the clean range. If you can't reclaim this value area low, more importantly, the POC, which does sit at about 16 cents to send it back to the upside. I'm not going to lie, guys. Lose this 786, unable to reclaim, I'd be expecting more downside. This is a critical level. 13 cents. 0.1341 to be exact. .1341 to be exact. Lose this, I'm expecting more downside. I could try to find some MPOCs. I'll see if you have any like high time frame MPOCs below. Yeah, I mean, your next monthly MPOC is actually sitting right here. Check a weekly MPOC. No weeklies below. I mean, your monthly comes in first. You do have weeklies down here, but I'm just going to keep that monthly on the chart. Daily MPOC. Yeah, man, I don't want to say it, but yeah, I'll just mark out these dailies as well just because they're confluent, right? Daily, turn these off. Yeah, so I would say like your next big level of support is all the way down here. You have no other MPOCs. Maybe, I mean, you have a daily level here that I will mark out. That's, not as important in my opinion as an MPOC, but is a key level of support. No weekly, unfortunately. So, yeah, you really don't want to come down, right? Like, you want to bounce here. If you lose the 786, daily underneath at about 0.1229, 12 cents, lose that. Probably coming all the way back down to this bigger level of support, which sits between 10 and 9 cents. That's what I'm looking at on Cookie. Money flow, all looks the same. Money flow in the red on the 4-hour, 8-hour. Daily money flow has been in the red for a bit. Yeah. Weekly red dot printing. Weekly blood diamond printing is the question. It does look like a blood diamond to me. There it is. Weekly blood diamond. Maybe we looked at this. We might have looked at this last time. We found a weekly blood diamond on something last week. It might have been this. And we were talking about how weekly blood diamonds are not really a good sign, right? So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. Definitely don't love the weekly blood diamond. Definitely don't love the money flow. I mean, you got a 12-hour yellow X. These typically come in twos. First one comes in, gives you your initial drop. You'll get a little kind of bing bong. And then the second one will pop up, give you the second drop. Hopefully, if you lose this key level, last line of defense is the daily at 12 cents. That's what I'm looking at on Cookie. All right, let's see. Somebody said B-Team. B-Team Crypto? B-Team in here? Shout out to B-Team. Welcome in if they're talking about you. Let's see. How come I can't scroll on chat here? Shout out to Crypto Beast. Thank you for the super chat. Said, Frankie, can you do TA on Mamo? Mamo. I don't know what Mamo is, but we'll check it out on Mexi. All right. Well, I mean, I'm just like, just. This is like, you guys won't see me just like pull structural levels like this, but clear retest of that structure there. Excuse me. Pull your volume profile here. So I'll give you the upper profile, which sits right here. I would even pull this as another area of balance. You got another profile here. I'm just going to rough these out. I'm not going to draw all the lines and everything. Just to give you an idea, let's pull a fib here from the impulse to the high. So right now you're tapping that golden pocket on top of these highs here. It's a general zone, pretty wide, but that is support. As far as money flow goes, even the 12-hour money flow working its way to the downside here. That crosses into the red. Lower highs and lower lows are going to be more likely. Next key level I would look at is your value area high, 786 Fibonacci retracement. That would be the next level to the downside. I could cover lower levels, but I don't want to really get like too nitty-gritty on levels that are probably not going to come in like tomorrow or the next day. We'll have plenty of time to talk before we come down to those lower levels, very likely. But golden pocket, you have these highs right here. I would say, let me actually pull up the weekly real quick so I can get this. Yeah, I hate to give like such a big zone here, but it is kind of big, to be quite honest. So I'll just mark this out to the wick here. Golden pocket. I mean, you lose this golden pocket, I would probably be very likely anticipating the 786, which does sit at about 0.08504, sitting right there. This is a big key level, right? Because it would be nice to like come down, retest that value area high, and then send it back up. But if you lose this value area high, that's where you're looking to fill the rest of the range. And you also have your POC sitting down here in nice confluence with that value area high as well. So you have a little bit of support there. So this is kind of like really where you want to bounce. If you get accepted in, probably headed down to the value area low at 7 cents, right? Just at about 7 cents. And then this is not your full retracement. If you pull it all the way to the low here, you do have that 786, that real last line in the sand is sitting right on that value area low at 7 cents, right? So you're hoping, I'll be honest, I don't think the probabilities of bouncing from where we're at right now into new all-time highs are, yeah, pretty much. I think that's less likely. I think based off money flow, lower highs and lower lows are more likely. So right now I'd be watching right down here in the 8 cent zone, lose that, looking down to the 786. Because when you lose the PLC, next likely place for price to go is going to be that value area low. When you lose the golden pocket, next place to go is the 786. So these are the levels I would look at on Mamo. Let's go. So there you go. But guys, we do have, that was Cookies, Jupe, okay, and then Mamo. We got them all. But we do have to do some giveaways here, guys. We like to give away money here, especially when the market's dumping. We like to try to ease the pain and give away some money to the Mafia. The only crypto channel, I think. I don't know. We'll just pretend we're the only channel that gives away money every single week since the start of this channel, guys. We've been doing these giveaways every Friday. So shout out to Tony D. If you could get ready for the giveaways, we have 20 bags of ADA to give away. I like free stuff. Shout out to K Diggity. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Panda the Prophet. Frankie, short stream today, guys. 2 hours, 47 minutes later. All right, guys, I gotta go right after we do every altcoin known to man. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's a dangerous combination when you have make somebody's job something they love. It's very, very hard for me to just cut them here because some people are like, "What about this altcoin?" And I'm like, "Oh man, low key, I haven't looked at that one in a little while. I want to check that out too." But let's see. Dogecoin after giveaways? Yeah, shout out to Big Huggies. I'll take a look at Dogecoin right after the giveaways. I love you, Nightbot. Yo, who said that? Shout out to Mountain Magnets trying to schmooze the Nightbot. Let's go. And I do believe that we have a I believe it's 20 bags of ADA tonight because we didn't do the giveaways on Friday because I was traveling for that bachelor party. Just out there bacheloring with my boy. So we have 20 double giveaways, right? We missed the giveaway. We're not skipping it. We're not trying to save that money. We're trying to give it away, guys. Money's more fun when you give it away. All right, let's see. Shout out to Erica. Said, Frankie Candles, you're neglecting me. No, Erica. I would never neglect you on purpose. Shout out to Erica. What is going on? I did not see you popping in there. Were you trying to, like, get my attention? You're like, Frankie. And I'm just, like, looking over to your head. I'm like, I don't hear anything. Shout out to Erica. What is going on? Yes, 20 bags. Shout out to Tyler Durden, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Tony D's about to drop him any minute now, guys. Any minute. He just, like, fell asleep. We're waiting here all night for the giveaways. But, yeah, guys, it's we look for the pullbacks. We get them, but it's okay. These are days that we have to go through. And guess what? We're going to go through more red days. Even if we go into parabolic moves, alt season happens, we are still going to have red days. And another bear market at some point. Hopefully not starting right now. Shout out to Perry. Yo, thank you for the super chat. Said, smash the likes. And pray for my polka dot. I'll just check in on polka dot while Tony D is doing the giveaways. He actually super chatted. I will be posting the first 10 names in one comment, then the next 10 with hat winners in another. Okay, so we got 10 Cardano bags, and then hat winners coming next. So let's go. Polka dot. Let's take a look here. I'll take off market cipher B just to clean up the chart a little bit here. And hey, I mean, here's the support levels that we looked at, right? There's reasons why we look at these support levels, right? It's usually because we are anticipating to come down and visit them. It's actually not pulled perfectly there. I actually had that off a little. But golden pocket being tested. Could you get some turbulence there? Potentially. Little bounce to the upside. But again, based off our money flow here, I would say the continuation down is a bit more likely, so I will be looking. There's your 8-hour money flow crossover into the red. You can look for that green dot on the 8-hour and potentially the 4-hour to start another move to the upside, but I would be looking for lower highs and lower lows, potentially targeting the 786 sitting at 335. Now, if you lose 335, I mean, let's be honest. I don't want to say it. I do hold polka dot. If we lose that 786, it would indicate that we are invalidating the idea of a higher low. The idea here is low, high, higher low for a potential and hopeful higher high. If you lose that 786, that idea is invalidated and would call for a break of structure to the downside, which would put polka dot some pretty low levels, right? Kind of hard to predict those levels just because we don't have a lot of price action to analyze back here. I could try to pull, like, maybe a daily level from down here. Like, who would ever have thought that you're going to come tap this daily level again? Crazy. I mean, altcoins are, to be honest, like, not unlike Bitcoin, where it's like when Bitcoin gets a massive pump, there's many prices that will never be seen again. Altcoins are a little bit different. You know, you kind of just get those dumps. They go up, they go back down. But let me see if there's a weekly there as well. There could be. Of course, there's not. So, yeah, I would say... yeah, I mean, you have this daily sitting down here. I would say that's a key level to watch. 283. If you break that 786, you could look down towards that daily. Do we have any confluence here on Fibonacci extensions? I would watch this level. If you break that 786, this would be the zone I would watch. 261 up to about 283. Hopefully we don't have to do it, right? I pray. Hopefully we get that. But if we lose it, I got to be honest, I have to tell you what's on the charts. Probably coming down here. We'll see what happens. So there you go. I forgot who asked for that, but shout out to you. Hopefully that helps you out. I think it was Perry. Shout out to Perry. And let's see. Doge, shout out to NB. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. And while those giveaways are going on. Oh, there we go. First 10 winners. We got Bubble. Shout out to Lil Bubble. We got Michael Anthony. We got Vazporize. I can't really see that name. We got Gary. Give Tyler Durden a raise. NB. Gen Z. Yo, shout out to Gen Z. Let's go. We got... Prob Crypto B Team. Yo, shout out to B Team. And Wick's Wife, Fine 89. Let's go. Shout out to Wick's Wife. Come on, baby. Come on. Congratulations to the first 10 bags of Cardano winners. That's not how you would say that sentence. And the, oh, that was the same thing. And then we got probably the second one there. All right. So, yeah, there we go. While they're pulling up the second batch of winners, we will take a quick look at Dogecoin or Doggycoin, as some people say. So here we are. Oh, here, we still have our line. Is Dogecoin dead? Well, it's like, hey, we could be potentially looking at something like this, right? It's not like once we start dumping, guys, I'm like, well, hey, we can go lower, right? You know, we've already been looking at a potential pullback, even into the value area low, right, which is the 786 Fibonacci retracement. When we pull from the low to the high, you have your 786, and you have your golden pocket. We're tapping into the golden pocket right now. We lost the anchored VWAP. We'll get rid of this because this has already been chopped through. Lose the anchored VWAP, you look to the golden pocket. I would still say, based off money flow, lower highs and lower lows could be more likely. If you cannot get the bounce off the golden pocket, which with the way money flow looks, I would say is the less likely probability. If you lose the golden pocket, I'm going to be looking down towards the 786/value area low. But at the end of the day, guys, we're here inside this macro profile. Could try to find like a situation where like maybe it hasn't happened on Dogecoin, but there has been so many situations. I mean, look at Ethereum, right? You take a look at Ethereum and it's like, you know, we get above this doorway at higher prices. This instantly makes us say, hey, long term, the target could be the value area high sitting up here at $3,500. The road to that value area high can be very confusing and very scary, right? And what happens here? We go from the low, you push up to the POC, right? You flip the POC and you're like, okay, cool. But what happens? You come back down to almost retest that low again. But as long as you stay within that volume profile, the doorway to the POC and the value area high is still open, right? So these roadmaps through the volume profiles can be very confusing, right? And very scary. But as long as you could hold within the range, you could still be looking for that full fill. And here we are, right? So when we go back to Dogecoin, right, it's very similar, right? You break in, hit the POC. Like, it wouldn't even be the worst thing in the world to get that 786 value area low retest. POC is still open, and you could still eventually see that fulfill the profile. If you lose the 786, that's your line in the sand. Lose that 786, can't get back into the profile, you're probably coming lower, specifically to crack this low here. So, yeah, this MPOC is already tapped, so I'll take that off the chart. So yeah, I mean, it's really like the key level that you do not want to lose on Dogecoin is 16 cents. I mean, the 786 is a key level, but really the value area low is just underneath you. You could kind of like just wick in there to get the bounce. It's not really until you break down, bearishly retest, then you're looking for the lower prices. You do have a weekly MPOC at about 12.5 cents, 0.126. So you're still pretty far away, right? You still got another 17% to go to really test that big line in the sand. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to the moon. Says Ondo, please. Did we not look at Ondo? Am I tripping? I already looked at Ondo, I think, with the premium Discord. But oh yeah, we did look at Ondo. We did look at Ondo. But just real quick, right? Value area low, PLC value area high. We have a previous value area high up here at 123. But key level of support here. Shout out to the moon. If you want a little more detail, you want to see me like pull these levels, just scrub back. We did look at this today. But this is sitting between 83 and 73 cents. Point of control, golden pocket 786. Lose that 786. Looking to come to the low and potentially looking to take out this low, right? So pretty much just looking at this as a volume profile. From the low to the POC to the value area high, as you would expect. Reject the high. POC is the next strongest magnet within the profile. If you don't bounce there, lose the 786, you're looking to go to the low and potentially deviate underneath. That's what I'm looking at. But scrub back a little bit. We did cover Ondo for a little while. If you want to see how I got those levels and maybe a little bit more detail. But for the most part, that's what I'm looking at. Biggest key level of support is getting approached. You leave the high, you're going to the POC. That's the next likely place for price to go. Does it guarantee it? No. Is it extremely probable? In my opinion, yes. Right? And again, money flow is headed in the same direction as everything else, which is to the downside. So until this money flow comes back into the green, lower highs and lower lows are more likely. So there you go. Shout out to the moon. Shout out to you, man. Hopefully that helps you out. Shout out to Jeremy. Thank you for the super chat. Said, just closed my 20x short from 120K. Now time to DCA into a large long swing position. Shout out to Jeremy. Let's go, baby. Congratulations. 20x from 120K. Nice trade, bro. Nice trade. Almost got the tippy top there. Let's get it. Oh yeah, did we get the rest of the winners here? I assume we did not get 1,000 likes because then we'd be pulling the $200 Solana winner. We could give away $200 like every week, guys. We could. Smash that like button enough. Let's see. We got the first 10 winners. Next 10 winners. Okay. And then did we get the hat winners? Tony D, let me know if we got the hat winners. I'm not going to go ahead and I'm probably not going to be able to find them. There is a lot of stuff in here. Let's see. Thanks, Frankie. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Perry. No problemo, brother. No problemo. I have a Hondo guitar. Shout out to Hobbs. Let's go. I wish I could play the guitar. I tried to learn the guitar. I wish I stuck with it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Shout out to Manny. Let's go. Pick me, pick me. Shout out to the playmaker. All right. Does anybody know if we pulled the hat winners. Yes, we got the hat winners. Okay, there we go. Shout out to Tony D. Let's go. So we got the 20 Cardano winners, and then we got the 3 hat winners. So shout out to anybody who wants a free Cardano or Frankie Candles hat. I can't tell you what color it's going to be. Tyler Durden gets to pick that, but it will be a Frankie Candles hat. Hit that free Discord and go to the Help Center to claim your free prize. I know the mods are probably going to correct me if I'm wrong on that, but go ahead and check that out. If you got a win, get into that free Discord, claim your free prize. And one last check-in here, guys, on good old Bitcoin. Trying to get back above that 786. We'll see. We'll see if these divs can get us a push back up for some relief. But you guys now have the local key levels of resistance I will be looking at for potential lower highs and lower lows. Money flow is coming out generally. That will be the anticipation. If we break down below that 786 decisively, you guys know where we're looking for that next support level. If anything crazy happens over the weekend and we just like nuke through this profile or something, I will give you guys an update. But other than that, go out there, try to touch some grass, and enjoy your weekend. And Bitcoin will be here when you get back, or maybe it'll go to 0 and it will never come back. I'm just kidding. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. If you ride a motorcycle, please wear a helmet and be safe. Shout out to Captain Kirk and Jesse. Speedy recovery to you guys. And, thoughts and prayers going out to them. Show them some love in the chat, guys. But thank you for tuning in. With all that being said, that's all the time I got. I'll see you guys on Monday. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Second bell, where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
You're going to make next week? Come on, dude. Just buy back in. Golden, come on, please, dude. You're going to sell again? Don't do it, man. Don't do it. We can't handle it. Come on, please. Give us a little relief first. Hello? I tried to call Golden, guys. He had to sell. He needed the money for something. He said he'll pump it maybe next week. We don't know. I'm going to try to keep in touch with him over the weekend. I'm going to try to get him to buy back in. But with all that being said, guys, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. I'll see you next week. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on the road. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road,